going to be a really, 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 really good day. And we want you to finally accept that life is supposed to be good for you, and it is being. And the more you relax, the more you will let the good times roll. And so step one is you ask, and step two is it's answered and assembled. It's in this gestating stage, in this vortex that you can't see, and it must seem crazy as Esther is pointing her fingers and toes and everything at this vortex, and Abraham's telling you everything that you want is right there where you can't see it. But it's the beginning of what you can see. So how is it going to turn from this vibrational reality that you can't perceive with your physical senses into a reality that is a reality that you can see and that you can acknowledge that you're the creator of? Well, that's what step three is. Step three is you're going to tune yourself to the frequency of what's in your vortex. And how are you going to do that? You're going to stop tuning yourself to the frequency of what's not in your vortex. You can't keep looking at what is if what is isn't enough, and be a vibrational match to what's in the vortex that's moved beyond what is already manifested. You see how it works? So first, it requires an understanding that you're wonderful. Next, it requires an understanding that law of attraction abounds. And most important, it requires an understanding that there are two of you, that there's the inner being you, and there's the physically personality sitting in this chair you, and that those two yous have got to stop fighting with yourself as if you are a Republican and a Democrat. You got to make peace with yourself, which means you got to care about how you feel, which means you've got to join the thought that your inner being holds about the things that matter to you. But you're not going to do it all at once, because law of attraction will not allow you to all of a sudden suspend all vibrational patterns that you've got going. There are a couple of ways that you could speed it up. One, less promising, lobotomy. And the other is, really the easiest way, is to make a decision to sit at least 15 or 20 minutes in every day and quiet your mind. Because when you quiet your mind, you stop that resistant thought. And when that resistant thought subsides, then the vibration of who you really are can be more easily received by you. Esther has been meditating for years, and sometimes more consistently than others. And what she is discovering is that in every day that she meditates, she's much more likely to be in tune with the whole of who she is, with the joy of who she is. So, life helps you to know what you want. And every day, more decisions about that come into place until you have enough experiential and wonderful things in your vortex really to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. But in most cases, you've put it there incrementally enough that it's a rare one of you. In fact, we've never met one, and we've met everyone, who could accurately articulate all that you have become. It's huge. Your inner being stands there being it and emanating a vibration about it that you have the ability to tune to. And when you tune to it, an idea will flow to you through your path of least resistance. Now, what we mean by that is you've asked for something, and it's in this vortex, and your inner being knows that it's there and knows that it's ripe and ready for delivery to you. And in fact, your inner being has been delivering an energy stream about it for some time. But you haven't been tuned to the energy stream, just like you can't put your radio dial on 101 FM and hear what's being played on something else. In other words, you've got to be in the frequency in order for the transmitter and the receiver to work together. So it's being broadcast for you, but are you receptive to it? The happier you are, the more likely you are to be receptive to it. But we've noticed, as we've played with you for a while, that it's easier to teach you to have no thought than it is to have pure positive thought, because you've been weighing the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses on so many things. So here is something that you want pulsating and being delivered to you electronically, vibrationally, like a radio signal. And depending upon where you are in terms of that signal, you may or may not be receptive to it. When you meditate and quiet your mind, what happens is you stop any resistance within you. And when you stop resistance or lower resistance, then the vibrational frequency of who you are adjusts upward to the vibration of that which is being broadcast to you. Now, once that begins to happen, through your path of least resistance, your inner being is able to contour the thoughts. There are things that you want that you believe that you can't have because you believe that you can't have them, not because they're not havable. But your inner being knows what thought to lead you to, that then will be able to lead you to. It's like this. It's like getting ready to be ready, 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 to be ready. How often have you said, oh, wow, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have been over there, and then I wouldn't have been over there, and then I wouldn't have been over there. So you're being guided like this all day, every day. You're having all of these experiences. But it is so much fun to deliberately sit on a daily basis for just a little bit of time and quiet your mind so that you are in the receptive mode, and then you can receive the impulse. The other day, Esther sat to meditate, and she has learned that it is better for her not to check her email and not to read her text, not to get out into the outside world, in fact, not to engage in any way if she can help it before she meditates, because if she can meditate first, she can get into a frequency that gives her the ability to move through her day with continuing joy. And so she sat to meditate, and she knew that she had accomplished meditation. We'll tell you how to do it and how you'll know you're there in a moment, because she was so quieted in her mind that she was completely detached from her body. She couldn't tell her nose from her toe. Sitting there in this blissful state, her head was moving about. She could feel energy moving through her, but she was careful not to focus too much on anything that was or was not happening. She just recognized this complete state of detachment. And it took her nearly the whole 15 minutes to get there, because she's a busybody. And so it took her a while to quiet her mind. She just kept focusing upon the sound she could hear in the air conditioner, and focusing on it and focusing on it and focusing on it and focusing on it. And finally, she was completely detached and therefore completely non-resistant, and her vibration had raised to the frequency. And the first conscious thought that came into her mind was, I wonder how the sound system works in this house. Now, Esther never understood how it worked. So she went to the contraption, played with it for a little while, and listened to all the different genres of music. It was really fun. But more important, she figured out how to make it play through every speaker on the property, in the gardens, in the courtyard, on the porches, and in the house. She had control of her entire environment, and now she's listening to the music. And then she found rap. She liked it a lot. So she listened to it for quite a while, and then went about her day and thinking about, I would like to move that over there and that over there and that over there. Now, it's odd. Path of least resistance. She's come out of meditation. She's been in tune with infinite intelligence. She's got God force flowing through her. And the thing that is most interesting to her is to move furniture around in her house. And then she thought, I cannot do it by myself. So she got online and she found 2 men and a truck. So she called them, and they came over, and she moved that over there and that over there and that over there and that over there and that up there and that down there and that over there. It was so much fun. And then that didn't look good over there, so put it back over there. That was really better where it was before, so put that back over there. But some things were really improved, and Esther was irrationally happy. And then one of the young men commented on what a beautiful day it was. It was a beautiful day. And Esther said, how long have you lived here? And he said, not long. I'm getting ready to move back to Alabama. And Esther said, oh, what's taking you back there? Why would you leave here to go there? He said, I'm a rapper. Esther said, hang on a minute. She went in, pushed her buttons, boom, rapping all through the property. His eyes are big. He can't believe it. Esther had practiced her moves. She knew what to do. And then he said, what is it that you do? And Esther said, I'm a teacher. And he said, what do you teach? And Esther said, rap. And then she confessed that she was new to it. And then they had the most in-depth conversation about how to get from where you are to where you want to be. She put a book in his hands. They hugged as they parted. And Esther understood that she'd been ready to be ready, 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 to be ready. Your inner being knows who you are and what you want. And more important, your inner being knows what your path of least resistance is to get you to where you want to be. And it may seem odd that the path to Esther finding this person who was pulsing with desire unlike anybody that she's ever personally met would be to wake up wanting to move furniture. But that's where it was at, you see. Your inner being knows everything that's in your vortex. Your inner being knows where you stand in relationship to everything that you desire. Your inner being knows what your path of least resistance is, because there's not a path that's better. There's not a path where you get higher marks. There's not a path where there's higher rewards. There's just only your path of least resistance. And who is it that puts the resistance on the path? You do. But your inner being doesn't hold that against you. Your inner being just calculates where your resistance is in relationship to what you want and guides you around it with thoughts that came from vibration. In other words, it's thoughts turning to things all day, every day for you. This is inspiration coming from within you, from someone who knows from broader view where you stand and what you want and what the path of least resistance is. And it's not just the path of least resistance to get you to where you want to be. It's the path of least resistance that brings you the most joy. It's the path of least resistance that lets you feel fulfilled all day, every day. You could be here all day, every day. Esther says when she gets on a run like this, and those runs are nearly every day as she's sitting for meditation for 15 or 20 minutes, Esther will say, oh, it's like the magic is back. And she knows it's not magic. She knows that it's law of attraction. She knows it's the way that it is meant to be. She knows that it's the natural process of the universe. She knows that it's her natural goodness coming in sync with desires that she holds and holding herself in a state of non-resistance. She knows that it's all about law of attraction, mixing it up. But now she also knows that it's about her preparing her vibration to be receptive to all of the resources that are being offered. And so once you begin to play with this, once you begin to utilize this power that is within you, you'll find yourself offering so much less effort, because let's face it, the effort that you are offering mostly is to fix the vibration that you have not accomplished. We want every moment of your life experience to feel satisfying to you, satisfying, because you're following the path of least resistance in the direction of that which you have already vibrationally become. And we want you to know that unless you are moving in the direction of that which you have already become, you will not feel satisfaction. You cannot feel satisfaction standing still or moving away from who you really are.